People say, well, you become the change that you want to see in your community. Oh, that was the greatest challenge that I had ever heard. Mm-hmm. You go become the change that you want to see in the community. So in order to do that, I had to change my belief system.
And what was your belief system at the time?
I believed the culture. Mm-hmm. I believe real niggas went and done time and suffered in agony. And they died with pride, mm-hmm. Only to not know that's not the truth. Mm-hmm. I believe that 4 friends riding in the car, one friend should take the charge for all the friends if he could.
So I'm gonna pause there. You were 12 years old, riding in
14,
riding in the car with folks, got into a situation where a person ended up being murdered.
Yeah.
You've told the story. You were 14 at the time.
14 years old.
You didn't shoot the person, but the person died. Yeah. You did, how many, 10 years,
9
years?
I was sentenced to 12 years under the Texas Juvenile Determined Sentencing Law. And I spent right at 6.5 years in the Texas Youth Commission from the age 14 to 21.
So did that time teach you what you just said?
Yeah, it did.
Because the culture don't do your time.
No. I grew up a privileged kid, right? My mother was a financially stable black woman who landed a job at General Motors in the early 80s. So during the 80s, General Motors and other blue collar workers, that was the backbone of America.
That was considered, we have a good job.
What?
Job,
that was the real middle class of America,
yeah.
And you live good, right? So we had all the name brand clothes, but I was an entitled kid. I got an allowance. We had saving bonds. I had a piggy bank. I had my own room. So the shit that you laughing,
Charleston, now you showing our age. People watching don't know what no damn piggy bank is. Now you just took me back. Now you made me feel old because I had a piggy bank.
I just seen you laugh. So
piggy bank was when we actually saved money. Now you're too busy out buying shit that you can't afford to be somebody that you ain't arrived at yet. That's a piggy bank.
Yeah, so my mother was trying to instill good morals and good values into her kids. She was God-fearing, she was a Christian. We had to say yes, ma'am, no, sir. So that's prior to the gangster culture, right? So,
but your dad was a Navy officer. Was he in your life at this time?
Oh, he was in and out.
Okay.
Yeah. He was in and out.
So so you're with mom. Mom's at General Motors. Dad is in and out, but he's a Navy officer.
But I got an uncle.
Okay.
So this is the elements in most black families. Whether you got a good mom or a dysfunctional mom, right? You always got that element of that uncle who has access to what the kids hear or see, right? So it's the uncle coming through, whether he's a pimp, a drug dealer, a molester, a woman beater. It's always something of that image that has a negative influence within the family.
And the relationship that makes the pathway to that influence seem okay.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So just give an example. When Uncle Wayne was coming through with the 3-piece suits on, getting out the Rolls Royce, briefcase full of money, you see, as a kid, you see how the family responds to him, right? With your young and impressionable mind, you mimic what you see people admire in your culture and in your environment. But when you wake up one night and he's beating his woman, how do you wrestle with that? Mm-hmm. When you still see the family treat him in a certain element, right? So don't shame the negative attributes that you see. The uncle who walks through the house with the sagging pants with the gun, who still lives with grandmama, whose sister just dropping the kids off over here, right? Grandmama just babysitting for a while, but the uncle still lives there. It's no different than the one who molests the kids, mm-hmm. who has access to the kids. So you end up mimicking that behavior. So I'm born in the 70s. My uncle was a pimp. The 70s and the 80s was the black exploitation era. It's no different than the drill era, the gangster era, the trap music era. We had a black exploitation era that was projected through Hollywood and entertainment. Superfly, The Mac, Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2.
Was Foxy Brown a part of all that?
Come on now. Mm-hmm. So when you think about Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2, as kids, we don't have access to these movies because they're not coming on television. Your uncle's got these videotapes, these VCR tapes. So we're watching them. So my name is Charleston. My dad's name is Charles Ray. My name is Charleston Jamon. But my pimp uncle, when I come home from the hospital, he called me Charleston Blue because there was a pimp movie called Come Back Charleston Blue that came out in '76. So they're already putting titles and labels on you as children that you just end up walking into, whether it's, boy, you gonna be just like your daddy.
I heard that.
Come on now. You might not even know your daddy, but the traits and those attributes are there because of the chromosomes.
So where was it that you were raised by the mom who had the great job, the decent job, the father who was in and out Navy, but it's still a positive image? Here comes the uncle. When did the shift happen that led you to prison?
Well, my grandmother's been to prison. So my mom would have to take me to go visit my grandmother in prison. My granddad ended up going to federal prison. My mom would have to take us to go see him. Then my Uncle Wayne is in and out. You know, the street hustling uncle who come take a bath over his sister's house, change clothes, you know, wash up over there, get his nephew some money, let him ride in the car.
He must have read my book or something.
No.
Because we all have it.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the people who sit and judge us, those of us who actually live through what we all go through, they go through it too.
Yeah.
That's what I find interesting about the culture, because on the outside, when you watch the social media or the interviews, like you have the same uncle.
Everybody have this element in their family.
Yeah.
Everybody got a molester
Everybody
in their
that looks like us.
Every human being have a
Yeah.
molester in their family.
Yeah.
They have an abuser in their family. They have an addiction trait in their family. It's in every human being, right?
Yeah.
It's there. So my mother is fighting.
Everybody at home right now is texting their molesting uncle.
So my mother is fighting to keep us from this. But because she's a single mother, and back then there was really no resources to help single mothers. So my mom, when I'm getting out of school, they doing 12-hour shifts at General Motors. So when I'm getting out at 3, my mother is kissing us, literally saying, I got meatloaf on the table, the such and such in there. Make sure y'all do this. Leave your homework out on the table. So she's giving us instructions. Don't leave out this house. Don't open the door. I'm going to call this such and such, make time. So she's giving us instructions.
Yeah, we're not going to listen to that.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And so she's going from 3 in the afternoon to 3 at night.
Yeah.
So when my mama coming home, she's doing her due diligence. We better have the homework out because she gonna work us up. Where y'all homework at? She's going to the extent of going to the bathtub to check and see if the soap wet, to see if we took a bath. Get up, boy, and take a bath. Y'all ain't took no bath because of soap. So she's doing all of that to try to instill good morals and good value. But while she gone, Uncle Wayne coming by cooking up dope. She got a sister who's just getting crack, came through what, 81, 82. So now my aunt is addicted to crack. So now my aunt is losing her place. Her and her kids have, my mom's trying to be the backbone to save the family. So she's exposing us to the negative elements of our families by bringing these family members into our homes, allowing them to stay with us, trying to help them. So we picking up on all the negative attributes. When we go spend a night over Aunt B house on the south side over in the ghetto, we get to stay outside. So we picking up all these negative traits by going to go visit family members, coming back home in the well-to-do areas, mimicking the behavior.
Right.
Culturally. Because this is our culture at the time. So, man, by the time I played the flute in the 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade.
I played the flute in the 8th.
I lost my eye in the 3rd grade. I got my glass eye put in the 6th grade. So up until that point, I was in and out of hospital. So I had a private tutor. So I never really started going to school until the 6th grade, really. So I had 9 eye surgeries. I fell in the washing machine when I was 5. So between those 2 injuries, I really never got to go to school. I was a institutionalized baby. I had a tutor, a private tutor that came. So I was in and out the hospitals. So by the time I get in 6th grade, I'm a burst of energy. I'm a burst of energy.
But also you had been sheltered, so to an extent, so now there's this newfound freedom.
Yeah, there's a newfound freedom. So with this newfound freedom, I remember when Colors came out. I had just got this newfound freedom.
See, we the same age, so everything you're saying, when Colors came out, that was the one movie in the theater in our community where they killed somebody in the theater.
Yep. That's the first time ever. So, man, this was a phenomenon. So I done saw my Uncle Butch. I done saw my Uncle Boosie. I done saw Uncle Wayne. And plus, I done been to Aunt B house to see some of this on television, what I saw in real life. And the thing about children, they can't decipher what's real from television. So when a kid is watching somebody die on TV, they really think that person is dying because of the lack of brain development. It's hard for a kid to turn off TV and say that wasn't real. I don't care what you say.
Right.
So I'm seeing what I'm seeing on television, I'm starting to see in the community. The awareness is now coming because it's being propagated through the television screens. So it's like a veil comes off when I'm out in the community. So now I know what a gangster looks like. So now I'm trying to mimic it based off the culture. So this is just from television. Now here come the music. So now we seeing. Now, and we don't watch Penitentiary 1, Penitentiary 2, and the favorite character is Too Sweet. A little guy like me that went to learn how to fight in prison. So man, by the time we're in the 6th grade, we're talking about what we're gonna do when we go to prison. Because now we've developed the concept and with our young and impressionable minds that Uncle Wayne done been to prison, Uncle Curtis done been to prison, so all these men in your family, you spend the night over your friend's house, all these other men done been, so you start thinking this the way. Because now it's being propagated to you as a kid.
But is that what led you on your path?
Hell yeah.
So you were influenced by your surroundings.
Yeah, my surroundings in television. Because when my mother, I'm a kid that grew up watching television raise me, and I'm fascinated by the gangster, the negative stuff, because my uncles and them is exposing me to things. So I'm already impressed by it. So when I see it in real life, man, I'm fascinated by a guy that seems to be like what I see on television, like this. So I'm drawn to it because your mind is young and impressionable, and these are the guys who you idolize in your homes. So when you spend a night over your friends' houses, you start looking at their uncles and their daddies to see if they got the similar traits. Guess what? They got the similar traits. His dad, your daddy just getting out of jail too? Man, that's my brother.
Well, and in our community, people glorified it.
Come on now.
Yeah.
So a pimp, my uncle being a pimp and beating women, it wasn't shamed upon. So it wasn't nothing for me when I got in the 7th, I think the 8th grade, for me to try to slap my girlfriend like my uncle. And plus the music, like Easy and them say, your pimp slapped the bitch.
But
That's what the music said. You're just a kid.
Did you pimp slap the 8-year-old girlfriends?
Yeah. I was trying to do what my uncles and them did.
What was so when you pimp slapped the 8-year-old girlfriends?
Now I was in 8th grade. I pimp slapped Michelle Carr. Cause she told all the girls in school that I didn't know how to tongue kiss, and I didn't. Cause when we was in the 7th grade going to the 8th grade, she tried to tongue kiss me, and that was my first time tongue kissing. And when she stuck her tongue in my mouth, it freaked me out. I didn't know what to do.
So you slapped her?
No. So when we broke up, so she was real popular in school, and so was I. So she went to school and told all the girls that I didn't know how to tongue kiss. And she was telling the truth, and I didn't. So I was embarrassed and ashamed. And so we was walking in the hallway, and she was pulling on my jacket. We were wearing troop jackets back then. And she smashed my donuts. And so I used that as an excuse to try to slap her like I saw Uncle Wayne slapping women, right? But when I tried to slap her, my jacket got caught in her ear. And when I pulled back, it ripped her earlobe. And her daddy came running through the hallway. That nigga was looking for me, boy. Yeah, I got suspended for the rest of the school year.
You didn't mace him?
No, I was 13 years old and I ain't know nothing about mace. She had a dope dealing daddy. I was scared. Yeah, everybody was scared. Yeah, he running through the hallway looking for me.
So 13, okay, so when you slapped her, what did you feel? Do you remember?
Well, you know it's wrong. So because your mother teaches you different, but you trying to be like your uncle. And a level of shame, but you don't know how to say, oh man, I'm sorry, I'm ashamed, man. Because you still carry on, because you just mimicking.
It's learned behavior, yeah.
Children mimic what they see and repeat what they hear. So I'm the nephew that's riding with his pimp uncle in the backseat with the hoes. So I might be sitting in the backseat with 2, 3 different prostitutes, but in my mind, these are my aunts. So when he riding and checking paper, so he teaching me this. So yeah, nephew, you ain't got no reason fucking with a bitch if you ain't got nothing for her to do. And I just be, eating a Happy Meal.
Learning the behavior.
Yeah. So all behavior is learned, either directly or indirectly, either being taught or through observation.
But when you're in the car with the guys, you're 14, they shoot the guy, you're telling them to shoot him, they kill him, he dies, you get locked up.
Yeah.
Did that experience make you go, when you get in jail or prison, this movie shit is not real.
Yeah, there's a different reality that sets in when you partake, or if you take somebody's life. It's not like the movies. The movie go off. When you take somebody's life, that scene never goes off. So nah, it took a while because you're still dealing with a human that has an undeveloped brain, right? Yeah, the feelings were overwhelming, right? So the feelings of guilt, the feelings of shame, even embarrassment, it can be so overwhelming for a kid that some kids have committed suicide because the brain can't process these overwhelming feelings. It's impossible because of the lack of brain development, right? The lack of the prefrontal cortex, logic and reasoning. So you're trying to understand why I did this. You're trying to understand why I feel so guilty. You're trying to understand why I want to play tough around my friends and still act like weak. So you battling the fact that, yeah, I have empathy, but when you get with your community is clapping for you because y'all done killed somebody. So that's a hard balance.
Right.
And you really have empathy. And part of your redemption, part of your rehabilitation, part of your resocialization, all stems from you having empathy. You feeling bad for what you did. But your culture is saying free the killer. The culture is saying, yeah, man, that nigga killer. So, man, that's a hard balance. So to put a kid, for a kid to make that choice and that decision and put himself in that situation, that's why many young people never can recover from making this horrible decision at such a young age. And they can't change at an old age because the culture won't let you have empathy.
So K. White, your brother.
Yeah, Kevin White. Yeah.
He murdered somebody when he was 17, got arrested, did 31 years, just got out of prison.
It took him 20-something years to have empathy.
Did he go to prison for killing somebody before you did?
Nah, he went after me.
He went after you. So he saw what you went through and still did it. Is that product of our community? Is that, what is that?
I'm the little brother. So my brother was already violent. But you gotta understand, man, we what you would call a wannabe kid. They come from the middle class community.
Which is a lot of kids, though.
We walking on marble floors. Our mom got the good cars. Man, we got our own room.
Shit, y'all had bar soap, not
Man, I had my own phone line in the 3rd grade. So that was unheard of in the 80s for a nigga to have his own phone line. Get the school handbook and call you. Hey, you know, can I talk to such and such? And your mom would say, hey, why that boy calling this late?
Right.
So man, we was very privileged kids. But because the lack of father, right? So most mothers can provide their kids with a perfect home life. But if they don't have a positive male connection, there's a negative attribute that attaches itself to a fatherless kid, and no one can explain it. It's like the little motherfucker just angry. So most little boys with their dad, with their loving mom, they seem angry. Or they got anger outbursts. They have anger management because they can't express, man, I want my daddy. And
they may not even say that, but that's what's the underlying.
The behavior, because you need, just like you need that white man's validation, you need your father's validation and affirmation just as bad as you need the white man's validation for your success.
And neither one of you got that.
Come on now. Man, I was smart in school. Man, I've always excelled in school. But because the culture don't clap for the smart kid, oh man, you think you smart. Oh man, you asking all the questions. So once you see that, oh man, you the teacher's pet. Oh man, you kiss. So you stop being smart in school. You start being the class clown. So because when I was 8 years old, my brother probably was 10. We were watching a movie. Out of nowhere, this 10-year-old kid says, ooh, man, when I grow up, I'm gonna kill somebody. Man, I looked at that nigga and ran downstairs, mama, because it scared me. In hindsight, the anger that I saw, Man, I went and told my mama. Man, mama, he said when he grew up, he gonna kill somebody. As the frustrated parent, tired, working parent, boy, come here. What you mean you gonna kill somebody? Man, rather than exploring that. So, man, grew up and killed somebody. And for a long time, man, my brother didn't have no remorse. Here I was, a kid who went through the juvenile system. And because I went through a different environment, I went through a different program. We had psychiatrists, we had psychologists. I grew up in an environment where all my childhood issues was repaired, right? It is much easier to create strong children than it is to repair broken men. So I went into an environment that focused almost 7 years on repairing a child and then creating a strong one. So that's what y'all see today. I went through a system that was able to create something like this. So my brother and them went to prison as teenagers. My friend there caught a double homicide as a kid at 15 years old. So they grew up in prison. I grew up in a juvenile system, so there's a difference. So I grew up with nurture, compassion, care. Them niggas grew up having to survive. So my brother, I had to cut my brother off because here I am working with children. I'm working with victims groups. And I remember my brother telling me specifically that he didn't have no empathy for the guy he killed because it was street and drug related. And I remember telling him that there's no way God would ever let you out of prison if you don't have no empathy, if nothing for his mother. My mother, she would always tell us, no matter how hard it got when we locked up, she said, at least I can still come see y'all. The other people can't come see their loved ones. So just think, so my mother would never let us complain because we were responsible for taking somebody's life. So she would never let us forget that. But my brother never thought he would ever come home from prison. My mother believed he would. But there's no way he could have came home and he not developed some type of remorse for taking somebody, even if he feels justified. You have to have some kind of remorse for the impact that you left on the family members. So eventually he got to that point, and then shit, after 31 years, the doors open.
So when you got out and created the HYPE program, helping young people excel, was that driven because you knew as a young person you needed somebody to help you excel, and then wanted to give that back to other people as part of your contribution to the culture?
From 1991 to 1998, age 14 to 21, man, that's a big old gap.
That's a big development. Those are big development years too.
Yeah, and so when I was released, I had been locked up in the juvenile system probably longer than any kid at that time, whereas the others had been transferred from the juvenile system directly into the adult prison system. I grew up with children who killed their mothers and their fathers. I grew up with children who raped 9-month-old babies. I grew up with children who killed their grandparents. I grew up with children who murdered some of the most elderly of our population, who committed some of the most heinous and worst crimes known, if not in the state of Texas, in America. We were the first group of children in America, outside of California, Chicago, Philadelphia, and New York, who began to commit murder in the late 80s and early 90s. This was a group of children who Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton went before our congressional members and said that these children are super predators. That term came about during that time. They said that this group of children would be bigger, faster, stronger, heartless, and incorrigible. This was spoken to our Congress members. So they began creating laws in this country, strict, harsh, inhumane laws toward children, mainly one, a juvenile life without parole. So they began sentencing children.
Was that when they decided to try juveniles as adults?
Yeah, so at that time, they lowered the certification age from 15 to 14. And then they started giving children at the age of 12 juvenile life without parole with no possibility. But this is before all the data and the research about brain development, right? Because the term super predator and that being attached to children sent a shockwave of fear through America. And we were committing these crimes. So
that's the singular thing I think that, although I did vote for Hillary and wish that Hillary would have won for my own personal reasons, that was the one.
I voted for Hillary too. I named my daughter after Chelsea Clinton because I was a Hillary fan.
Really?
I was a big Hillary fan.
Hold on. The leader of the nigga nation was sitting up one day and decided to name his child after Chelsea
after
Clinton.
Chelsea Clinton. Yeah, I had got into it with family members and everything. The whole black community, I stood in line for hours, voting for Hillary Clinton against Barack Obama. And at the time, my baby mama was pregnant with my daughter. So yeah, Chelsea Serenity White.
But people not understand, well, that was the super predator thing, was the thing that stuck on Hillary when she was running against Donald Trump, because people couldn't, black folks, were tired of being labeled super predators. Not
stigmatized. That was a stigma it was a horrendous stigma, because now they're trying to undo what they had done, and they even apologize for it. But
not to mention 3-strike law that also happened under that whole
minimum sentencing guidelines on the federal, all of that. So right now, the Miller versus Graham ruling that overturns the automatic juvenile life without parole. So that's how I kind of got into politics. So my change came from the juvenile system, right? Because I went through a program that focused on re-socializing a child, right? Rehabilitation comes after you re-socialize someone. There's a lot of people who grew up in households who really don't know right from wrong. I know some kids that they think if they can take it from you, it belongs to them because they took it from you. If you can't take it back, then heck, so it's some worlds that exist like that. It's some worlds exist where men and women, they fight each other. The man whooped the woman hit him while he sleep, and they love each other and don't nobody call the police. So it's some worlds that exist like that. But I didn't grow up in that world. I wanted to try to fit into that world. So by me not having a father, and me trying to identify as a boy, a male, and as a man from just my mother's teachings and what the culture teach me. I went with the culture because my mama, what you say don't work out here playing marbles with these guys. Yeah, when I want the ball back, what you say, I say, well, please, can I have it back? This don't work, mama. So I'll stop listening to mama, because what she's telling me to do as a boy don't work when I leave the porch.
What she's telling you what to do is right.
Yeah.
But the mothers didn't tell those other kids that will have the ball the same thing, and that's not the reality of the world that you're in.
Yeah. So sometimes culture overrides what you're being taught in the home, because you got to survive and fit in, and I want to fit in.
But that's the thing. Where do we take responsibility as a culture, though? Because I can tell you, the only time I've actually actively tried to kill somebody was the day after, a couple of days after my brother got murdered. It was at that point I think I had just hit a low. I wrote about it in my book where I talked about us going to find the person, knocking on the door, and having the guns. And in my mind, I remember the feeling of, I didn't care who opened the door, we were just gonna kill everybody in there. That's what I thought. But I got into a place of despair. But there were times over my life where I've made decisions like, you know what? I don't want to sell drugs. I'm bad at it. I was doing side agreements with crackheads that don't work. They don't pay me back.
I was tricking. Yeah, I was a little nigga tricking.
But when do we take responsibility? Because not all of us go down that path.
I'm finna say the culture, right? Boys in the hood. When they gave us the part when Trey said, let me out the car.
Yeah.
And Doughboy and them let him out. We need more examples. Other than that, we ain't got no examples.
That's a great answer, yeah.
And they didn't shame him. They let him out the car. See, now we ain't gonna let the nigga out the car. Oh, bitch ass nigga, hoe ass, we gonna shame him. He can't ride in the hood, so man, let a nigga out the car. We need more examples. Man, we need more, until I came, man, nobody done stood up and said, man, you gangster niggas wrong. Man, I wouldn't dare disrespect no Crip and Blood nigga, and we done Cripped and Blood. But man, at some point, man, when you know better, you do better.
Charleston is not afraid to go viral. Let me tell you where I can't remember the first time I saw you. I know after I saw the first viral clip, and I can't remember which it was, I've watched everything unfold after then. Do you ever think about your safety, your own personal safety?
Yeah. Well, in the beginning, I had an aggravated assault charge with a deadly weapon. So this was like in 2018, 2019. About 5 guys, 5 blood members from a different city said, we go come to the classy lady. And I'm thinking these niggas just online talking. Because in my mind, ain't no nigga finna just say what they finna do and come. And plus, it's Sunday and the Cowboys playing. These niggas ain't finna stop watching. So, but I'm online playing. I don't watch football. I ain't got nothing to do. So I get in my car, get my guns, and I record myself doing this. Riding all the way to the classy lady, which was my youth organization was. So when I get there, I see one of the guys. I knock over the table, but I'm recording myself doing this. I take cover with the gun, but I never point the gun or nothing. I end up having to make bond to get out of jail on that for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
But you didn't shoot him?
Uh-uh.
But because you pulled the gun out?
Yeah, because I pulled the gun. But the charges end up getting dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I'm saying, man, these niggas ain't gonna go to that extent, because in my mind, I haven't done nothing to nobody. I'm saying to myself, the guys who wanna hurt me or who would hurt me, they've already hurt other people. So why would they be mad at me for what I'm saying when it's somebody mad at them for what they've done to other people? I haven't been gang banging. I haven't been shooting up the neighborhood. So in my mind, the energy that comes back to me, it don't require me to be harmed and hurt. I wrongfully participated in taking a man's life as a kid and paid my dues to society for that. So my debt that I paid to my victim is that I work with other children who possibly could take somebody's life like I was, a misguided kid. So that's my energy that I sow back into the life that I've taken. Outside of that, most of my crimes was committed as a kid, snatching white women purses, breaking into white people's houses, because you got your uncles and them telling you, go cross the railroad tracks and do it. So you thinking you're doing some just taking from white people, coming back over here. But my mama saying wrong is wrong. God has no respect to person. So as you get in trouble, as throughout your life, as you get in trouble, you're a smart kid in school and you go to a white school. So who's mostly impacting you? These wonderful white teachers. Who's coming to tutor you? These wonderful white teachers who's teaching you about John Brown and who's really teaching you your history. So you really can't. So you're conflicted by what your uncles and them saying. So you got to think, homie, during the 80s, you got a bunch of niggas that was sitting around mad at the man. Yeah, nigga, they went to selling dope. They were mad at the man.
Right.
And everything's about, even the television shows were about the man, from George Jefferson to
all in the family.
Everything was about the man. So as a kid, you're intertwined into the culture because mama and them gone. So that's what's raising you. But you're trying to balance your mother's good teachings. Right.
So isn't social media nowadays gaslighting that even? It's just putting
It's
fire
worse.
to the flames,
Yeah,
right?
It's worse, especially if mama's busy. And so this is the dilemma now, is that mama is so busy and the kids are so active and the kids learn and pick up so fast. They from what I'm gonna say as early as 2, they put a phone in this kid's hand. And it's always bewildered me, how did this kid know what to go watch? Because as early as 2 years old, these kids find their favorite videos, right? So that's what drew my interest about content creation, because I've found out that the kid videos pay more than all of us. We got some millionaire rich kids we'll never know.
Right.
But they've been opening toys since their parents. So, and here our kids are clicking on it. So I'm saying, man, how do your kid find these videos? So from just say 2 to 4, the phone is raising them, because we give them the phone so we don't be distracted by them. They get to eat and they got the phone. They eat and they got the phone.
Then they get the tablet.
Then they get the tablet.
Then they get the PlayStation.
Then they get the joystick.
Yeah.
So man, so by the time they get the joysticks and put the headphones on, fuck you, nigga, you're gonna die. Fuck you, bitch, I'm gonna shoot you. Man, you ever put them headphones on in here?
I've been online listening to those games, Call of Duty. You would
it's
think
worse
they were
than
in
rap music.
You would think they're in Iraq.
But what I'm saying is, where's all this anger coming from amongst our youth?
Right.
It's the absence of some form of parent.
Well, and where's the complacency in parenting and putting the blame on the creators of the content or the consoles that they're using?
And now, because I'm on the console, now here we are, kids who grew up playing with other children, right? And we had empathy and we had compassion. If we fought, now get up. Let them get up. Put a stick on your shoulder. So this group of children, because technology, they have the emotional detachment from other humans. It's easy to be mean. It's easy to be cruel. It's easy to shoot something that you're not detached to. It's easy to be harmful to something. So they don't have the emotional detachment from human interactions. So this is real. This is a real mean, cruel culture of children that they have to try to exist in with no compassion, because they don't have emotional attachment.
So why do you hate TikTok?
I hate TikTok because TikTok let the world monetize off me and won't let me make $1.
What do you mean?
I've never been able to make $1 off TikTok. I got over 2-point-something billion hashtag Charleston whites. I got 22 million misspelled Charleston whites hashtag, and so they let other people take my content and make money. But because I'm so offensive, at times my perceived ideologies seems radical, and most of the time I'm just bullshitting. I've never, outside of a personal interview like this, I've never brought the real Charleston to the internet.
Well, that's why I wanted to interview you, because I know people are saying, you're running for city council, and we're going to get to all. Yeah. This man's views, I have not had more notes on any guest that I've had than this one. I have not had to have more pre-production meetings than this interview, because there's so much. There's stuff I agree and stuff I don't agree with, but what I love the most is that I want to use my platform to always show people who people are, because I saw that one clip of you and I was like, oh, he tricking us.
Yeah.
But I understand it, because I do know sometimes you got to go to where people are to get their attention.
Well,
and wait, let me say one more thing. All your kids out there that you're saying you don't want them to watch Charleston, they're already watching them.
Yeah.
And this is why the people who are trying to help kids the most may not show up the way you expect them to. I have right now on the campaign trail, kids bringing their parents out. You need to vote for Jason Lee. You need to know Jason Lee, because of my content and how I reach them. So I really wanted to interview you because I find you fascinating. And I think that, regardless of how I or other people may disagree with some of your points of view, your courage to totally live in your truth and be unapologetic about it has to be respected.
I went to community college. That was my exit from the culture. Right?
You took criminal justice though. Were you gonna be police?
No. I started out just wanting to be a juvenile probation officer. Okay. So that's why I started Hype. I was already working with the Texas Juvenile Justice Department. Once I got my bachelor's degree, I was gonna go do juvenile probation and then parole. So my whole outcome, my whole mission was just to go work with at-risk children, juvenile delinquents. So when I got to college, just off writing papers and doing research, I shifted from criminal justice to pre-law. I said, man, I'm gonna go study law. Because I had won a few lawsuits I'm on, job lawsuits and things like that. So I said, man, I'm gonna go study law. But I just wanted to, I'm the kid who just wanted to fit in. Mm-hmm. So if the culture was scientists, I would have been a great scientist. If the culture said, let's be lawyers, I would have been a lawyer. The culture said, let's be killers. So that's I wanted to be a black man. Mm. And growing up, I've never seen a black banker. As many times as I've been to an eye doctor, I've never seen a black doctor.
Yeah, in our era, we didn't see black doctors.
No,
or black lawyers.
So it was hard for me to be the black radical kid that some of my uncles then were pushing me off to be, because I had loving white nurses, loving white doctors. So it was hard for me to embrace that aspect of the culture. But boy, I'm at home alone as a kid cutting on the television. I'm what the music and the television produce, outside of what it's doing now. So I'm the product of this. It's only for me to grow up and become angry, and resentful toward the culture, because I feel like I was tricked.
So you hate TikTok because they robbed you. What about Instagram? Do you like Instagram?
Instagram is a facade. Yeah. Instagram is Instagram is the fantasy world. Yeah. Instagram, everybody's beautiful. I don't even look on the Explore page because the women are too beautiful. Where the regular, normal-looking women at? I swear by God, those are the demons and the angels, because they're too beautiful.
Right.
This is God's, so I don't even look on that page.
And then Instagram implemented that whole pay for verification thing. If you pay to be
it's the fantasy world,
right?
Right? So you can go be with all, it's the jailhouse where a nigga can come be all he want to be over here and really not be nothing. Right. Because nobody really knows each other on Instagram.
Well, why didn't you pay to verify your account?
Because why would I pay when they wouldn't give it to me when I deserved it then? When they would deny me all these years, there's real documentations that I've done news stories with the Walter Cronkite News 21. So I'm saying, man, they could have been gave me all that, but because I'm so radical, they wouldn't give it to me.
There's a box right there on the side. I'm gonna give you a gift.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know. This is a good point to interrupt you and give you this gift.
Oh, really?
Oh, we verified your Instagram account.
Oh, man.
We got the page back too, and verified.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you earned it. I mean, because the reality is you already verified in these Instagram and social media streets. It's just the little blue check, I guess, makes it official.
Yeah,
but
and I ain't got to pay for it.
no.
Oh, okay, already, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. Shit.
Okay, so now you can like Instagram again, but
Yeah, you're not. I fell in love with Instagram when I first got on there, because it created me to a whole nother world outside my local environment. I was Denzel Washington on Facebook before I ever got on Instagram.
in terms of fame, popularity.
Fame and popularity.
Yeah.
I was doing millions of views on Facebook long before I ever even got to Instagram and YouTube. When I left Facebook, my only desire was to have a monetized YouTube page. I didn't know anything about Instagram.
Why did you leave? You're back on Facebook now.
I go back and forth. Just
You're not monetized on Facebook?
No, I'm not.
Oh,
They got. So this is what social media sites have done to me.